Kakalas, Boker Or. Daf Yomi Masechet Sanhedrin Daf Kuf Zayin Amud Aleph 10781 says the Gemara. Amar Rav Yehuda Marav says Rav Yehuda Marav. Leolam al yavi adam atzmo lidei nisayon. A person should never put himself into a situation of a test. They should never test themselves. Some people, they think they're machos, right? They're big guys, and they come in, and all of a sudden when they come and put into a test, they become little tiny mice, little tiny weasels. Yeah, mamash. Yeah. So he says, why? David Melech Yisrael hevi atzmo lidei nisayon. David Melech Yisrael, he brought a nisayon to himself, and what happened? Nichshal. And he, why? Amar lefanav, David Melech comes and he says in front of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Ribono shel olam, Master of the universe. Mipnei ma omrim, why do we say Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov? The en omrim, we don't say Elokei David. Basically, we're saying, why do we say the God of Abraham, God of Yitzchak? Why don't we say the God of David? Amar lo, he tells him, Inu minisuli. He says, what? I tested them. But I never tested you. Amar lefanav, he said, Ribono shel olam, bechoneni v'naseni, bechavod, test me.
He did.
Oh, yeah, that's what he did.
No, but it brought his whole life.
No. But here it's a real test. Shneimar bechoneni Hashem v'naseni. So Amar, he says, Minatan lach v'avina minta bidach. So he says, I'm going to test you, and I'm going to do something that I didn't do with the avot. Deledidhu lo datinu. Because they didn't know from the beginning that I'm testing them. But you, Diluana Kamodina, I'm telling you that I'm going to test you with irva. Miyad immediately. He gets up from his nighttime, right? But he says, 1 second, but usually it's not boker. Amar Rav Yehuda shafach mishkavo shalal lemishkavo shel yom. Which means, right, he was mishamesh mitato im ishto bayom instead of balayla. Right? That means he didn't want to come meaning he started having relations during the daytime, so he wouldn't think about another woman at all. So he's not going to be nichshal b'dvar avera. But he forgot halacha. What's halacha? Ever katan yesh ba'adam, there's a small organ in the human being. Masbi'o ra'ev. If you make him hungry, right? So then if you're going to satiate him, he's going to be hungry. Marivo saveo. But if you make him hungry, so then he's going to be satisfied. Which means the opposite. The more that you're going to come and start doing, right, tashmish, the more that you're going to want. Meaning a person will think, okay, fine, so do more, and then you'll be more happy. No, the opposite. The more that you're going to have, the more that you're going to want. Vayitalech al gag bet hamelech. So all of a sudden he comes on the roof, and he sees that there's a woman that she's taking a bath, right, on the gag. And she was very, very beautiful. She was chofefet her hair, right, underneath the gigit, which was Ata Satan, came the Satan, made him like a tzipor, like a bird. Patach begira, so David HaMelech comes, and he shot an arrow towards the bird. Patka lechalata, and it hit the gigit, and it broke it. Igalya vechazya, and all of a sudden he saw Batsheva. Meaning Batsheva was, she was taking a bath in front of everybody. Yeah, she was hidden. But what happened is that all of a sudden, he shot the arrow towards the bird, and it was a Satan. And what happened was the arrow shot the barrel, broke the barrel, and all of a sudden she's revealed. Yeah, miyad immediately, he comes and he finds out the Yomen, and they told him, he said, Batsheva bat Eliam eshet Uriah, she's the wife of Uriah Hitti. So he comes and he sleeps with her. And then she's purifying herself from the tumat nida, and she goes to her house.
Wait.
So now he comes and he says, so that's what's written. What does that mean? Right? When you checked my heart, you tested me with the maaseh of Laila, right? If I could stand it or not. But you didn't find me clean. So that's what David HaMelech is telling HaKadosh Baruch Hu. It's true, right? You wanted to test me, but you didn't find me, right, that clean. Zamoti bal ya'avor pi, amar iku zemama nafal bepume deman desanile. Who's going to come and have a zamam in the mouth of somebody that hates me, right? Which means he himself, right? Man desanile is a kavanah to David himself. So he comes and he says, Velo amar ki aminta, and I wouldn't have said that. That means David HaMelech afterwards, he's regretting the fact that he tells HaKadosh Baruch Hu, test me. Because once you fail the test, you didn't want the test. Yeah. So Rava comes and he says, what does it mean in Pasuk? מה דכתיב למנצח לדוד, בהשם חסיתי איך תאמרו לנפשי נודי עליכם ציפור. So he says, right, שההר שלכם נד וזז על ידי ציפור, that, everything, the entire world moved because of a ציפור. אמר דוד לפני הקדוש ברוך הוא, ריבונו של עולם, מחל לי על אותו עוון, forgive me for that sin. שלא יאמרו הר שבכם, that they shouldn't say that the king, ציפור נדדתו, that the ציפור came, which was the Satan, made him lose everything. Tarashrava, and we say, what does it mean in the pasuk? What does that mean that I only sinned to you and I did bad in your eyes? He says, it's known that if I wanted to, I could have controlled my Yitzhak. But I wanted to, I said, that the student, right, will overcome the teacher. Yeah?
Okay.
This is a Gemara. Yeah? David Elmaleh is talking. So he comes and he says, yeah.
What have you seen? That's why we don't come to the Shiloh.
There's a beautiful Gemara. The Maharal comes and he explains the Kavanah of David was not to letzdik et atzmo, because even with the chet b'kavanah, right, is still going to be a chet. But he wanted to say the tam l'kishalon, right, which means David mitzad atzmo, he wasn't fitting for that avirah. Right, because mitzad is madrega, he should have been able to conquer his Yetzirah. But because he asked for the nisayon, HaKadosh Baruch Hu did not want to give him this nisayon, right, which is not according to his madrega. So therefore, what happened was that he actually fell in the avirah. It's a maharal, beautiful maharal. Shodar Shrava, Rava comes and he expounds, and he says, what does it mean in the pasuk? Ki ani letzela nachon machovi negdi tamid. So he says, Reuya ita bat Sheva bat Eliam le David mishizim bereshit. Really, be'emet bat Sheva was supposed to get married to David, right? Ela sheba elav b'machov, but it came to him, right, before the proper time, right? Which means that at the end of the day, it wasn't the proper time, right? He says, the Gemara says it, right?
Who saw it in the Gemara? Who wrote it in the Gemara?
Rava. Darash Rava. Rava is the one that's expounding this. So Rava comes and he says, right, that this is based upon the pasuk, because the pasuk says, "Ani letzela nachon umachovi negdi tamid." So he says, "V'chein tana devrei b'Shmuel, Reuya ita leDavid bat Sheva bat Eliam, ela shachla paga." He took her at the not proper time. Do you know that this is actually brought down, right, in many, many different places? So Darash, so coming, he says it was fitting for him. Darash, what does it mean also? Tzal'i samchu v'nesafu nesufu alai nechim v'lo yidati keruv lo damu. Amar David lifnei HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Ribono Shalom gerudo lifnecha she'im hayu korim b'sari lo yadami shotet. That even if they would tear open my flesh, my blood wouldn't come out, right? Because they wouldn't find other blood, because they already embarrassed me so many times because of the story of Bathsheba, right? Meaning that when a person comes and he gets embarrassed, all the red blood cells, right, it becomes white. Why does it become white? So he says, if they would already tear him open, there wouldn't be blood anymore, because he was embarrassed so many times because of the story of Bathsheba. But this is what's happening. Ella b'shav lo od ella b'shash oskim b'arba mito betim poskim shel David used to come and he used to say, they used to tell me, David, habal eshetish mitato b'ma. They used to ask David Elmaleh, David, by the way, if somebody goes with a married woman, what's the punishment? So Amarti Laim, I told them, I used to tell them all the time, somebody that goes with an Eshetish, he gets chenek, but he gets olam haba. But somebody that's malbim panev b'chavaro b'rabim, en lo chelek olam haba. That's how David Elmaleh used to answer them. So David used to, don't worry about him. You understand? You know what? So he says, Amar Rav Yehuda Marav, afilu b'shat cholyot shel David, ki em 18 onot. Do you know that even when David Elmaleh, after the story of Bathsheba, he was still mekayem 18, right, onot, in order to give his wives pleasure. Now he was patur, because he used to give them their necessities, relations, right? Because even though he was sick and therefore he was patur from giving it to them, he would still give it to them, right? In order that they should enjoy, right? The relations. Yeah. Shneimar b'zezen pasuk, yagati be'anchati, which means he comes and he says, right, even during the time of his anchati, which means his machala, he was still coming and doing his relations, right, the marital relations, that's what it's called, yeah? So he says, even b'shat dimati ani mamis, right, mitati b'tashmish. Rav Yehuda Marav says in the name of Rav, ביקש דוד לעבוד עבודה זרה. What does that mean now? שנאמר, it says in הפסוק, ויהי דוד בעד ראש, right, אשר ישתחווה שם לאלוהים, ואין ראש אל עבודה זרה, שנאמר, והוא צלמה רשע דאבטיו. והנה לקראתו חושי הערכי, קרוע כותנתו, ואדמה לראשו. אמר לו דוד, יאמרו מלך שכמותך יעבוד. They're going to say what? They're going to say, what are you doing? It's a chilul Hashem. What are you trying to do now? So ki'ilu, that he wanted to show that he was doing avodah zarah. Yeah, so he says, Amar lo, melech shekemoti yarugenu beno. He says, yeah, but 1 second. But they're going to say that it's going to be a bigger chilul Hashem, that his own son is going to kill him. Mutav sheyavod avodah zarah ve'al yitchalel shem shamayim mefaresya. It's better that he should do avodah zarah, and therefore he's going to be mechalel et Hashem levado, instead of having that everyone's going to come, they're going to be matztik ladin, that they'll understand that why did I kill him? Because he did avodah zarah. You understood what David HaMelech was doing. David HaMelech went and he was going to do avodah zarah in order that if his son kills him, they're going to see it's because HaKadosh Baruch Hu did it. Why? Because he went and he did avodah zarah. Because if not, it's going to be a bigger chilul Hashem that his son, what? For sure it's a lie, but he was doing it for Hashem. Right? Again, you see the same concept that he's doing it for Hashem. He didn't want that Hashem should come out that what? This is what Hashem does. So therefore, he's going to do avodah zarah, right? To show Kilu he's doing avodah zarah, in order that if he gets killed, right? So therefore, they're going to say, okay, it's obvious so he got killed.
Shalom. This is Shalom. Talking about.
No, David. Amar, he comes and he says, so my time I can see after Yifat Torah. So why did you get married then to Yifat Torah? At the end of the day, the mother of Shalom was a Yifat Torah. So why did you get married to her then? Right? So he comes and he says, it says here, the mother was Ma'acha bat Talmai Melech Gashur. Right? And David took her back as a Yifat Torah. So Amarle, he says, Yifat Torah Rahman Ashari. He says, what are you talking about? The Torah permitted you. Amarle, he says, Lo darashta smuchin. You didn't doresh the smuchin. What is the smuchin? The Samir Lekilish ben Soren Moren. Shekolon and say Yifat Torah, Yeshlo ben Soren Moren. You're right. The Torah does permit you to take a Yifat Torah. But what's going to happen after Yifat Torah? Ben Soren Moren. So therefore, that's the smuchin. Okay? So that's the question. You weren't doresh smuchin. What's going on? So he says, right? So the Gemara is going to come and he's going to say, how did David HaMelech ask for Mechila? So the Rashi Abdusai de bin Biri, Lema David Omer. What is David HaMelech compared to? He says, Lesocher Huti. To a Socher, which he's always going to try to get his Sechorah. Meaning he used to be very smart. He used to sell the Sechorah in small quantities with a small price in order that they should buy a lot. So Amar David Lifnei HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Ribono Shel Olam, Shel Yom Yavin. He says, do you understand that who could actually come and be careful from small little sins? Amar le Shavik alach, Rai Machu lecha l'shigagot. U'misaron hakeni, clean me from the aviro b'mezid. Shviki lach, gam yizidim chasoch avdecha, even things which were done with faresya. Shviki lach, he said, yeah, you're forgiven. Aim shulubi, de lo lishtau bi rabbanan. That the Chachamim should not come and start speaking about me for generations, about the sin of Bathsheba. Shviki lach, it's there. Az etam niketi besharav shelo yikatev sorchani, that it shouldn't be written. Amar lo yevshar, no, that you can't. Meaning it had to be written. Uma yod shenatalti misarai omer v'tzovea kama shanim. If the yod of Sarai was taken off, and it's screaming the entire time, but her name became Sarah instead of Sarai. So he says, Ad sheba Yoshua, until Yoshua ben Nun came and I put it on Yoshua instead of Hoshea. So imagine the entire parasha of Bathsheba. I can't just take it out of the Nach. Meaning he asked that it shouldn't be written down in the Nach. He says, no, I can't do that. It has to be written down. Shmuel. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, fine. So says the Gemara, Veniketi Besharav, Amar lefanav, he says, Ribono Shel Olam, Mechol yaloto avon kulo, forgive me completely. Kvar atid leShlomo bin Chal Omar Chachmno, he's going to say, Yachate ish, Esh becheko uvgadav lo tisrefena. Mialech ish el hagechalim v'laglav lo tikvena. He says what? If a person is going to come and he's going to go on the fire, he's not going to get burnt his feet. Kera ba leshetreu lo yinaker mikol hanogea ba. Malei kol hachi nitra lo gavra. He says that person, which is me, he's going to be pushed off because of that maaseh. So he says, Amalek kabel lach yisurim v'kibel alaf. So he says, accept upon yourself yisurim. He accepted. David. No. HaKadosh Baruch Hu told David, accept yisurim, and then he's going to be forgiven. And that's exactly what happened. So Amar Rav Yehuda Marav, Shisha chodashim nitzara David. For 6 months he got tzarat. V'nistalkai menu shechina, and the shechina went away from him. U'pirshu menu Sanhedrin, the Sanhedrin went away from him. נצטרה דכתיב תחייתנו באזור וצד תחבצה משל הגלמין, נסתלקה ממנו שכינה בזה, צוות אין הפסוק, השיב לו צדון נשך ולא נגבת תשמחני, ופשוט ממנו סנהדרין דכתיב ישובו ליריך, 6 חודשים מן how do we know that it was for 6 months, דכתיב, בימים אשר מלך דוד על ישראל 40 שנה, it was going to be for 40 years. ק"ז עמוד 107b.
You got finished all of that because of Bathsheba?
Yes.
The 6 months of Tzara?
Yeah. בחברון was 7 years, מלך 7 שנים, ירושלים was 33 years. בחברון מלך על יהודה 7 שנים ו6 חודשים, was really 7 years and 6 months. So what happened to the 6 months? So he says, Shema Mina nitztara, because for 6 months he was put in tzarat. Amar lefanav, so he said, Ribono shel olam, mechol yalo tovon, please forgive me. Machul lecha, he says it's forgiven. Asemi ol letova, give me a sign. Yiru sonai, that my enemies should see it, v'yivoshu, they should be embarrassed. Ki ata Hashem azatan milchamtani, but you are Hashem, that you help me. Amar le, no, because here, right, at the end of the day, he's asking, I want a sign that they should, that the enemy should see it. Right? So he says
that he's good.
That he's good, that he was forgiven, that the enemy should see it, not for me. For me, I believe you. I believe you, but it's for the enemies, for the other people, that they should see that I was forgiven. So he went and he said, Elmaleh b'chayecha ani modi, I'm not going to do it during your lifetime, but I'm going to do it b'chayei Shlomo mincha. Why? B'shah shebana Shlomo bet hamikdash. When Shlomo Melech built the bet hamikdash, bikesh lachnis Aron lebet kodesh kodashim. He wanted to bring the Aron into the kodesh kodashim. Tavku ha'sharim ze bazeh. The kodesh kodashim, they closed the doors like a miracle. They weren't able to open. Amar esrim v'arba ranot. He came and he started singing 24 different tefillah, techina, rina, that. Shum davar. Nothing. V'lo nana. Amar seu sharim nashachim nazuchu b'tekei olam v'yom melech kavod mi ze melech kavod asher zevayos gilbol mechba. V'ne'emar seu sharim nashachim nazuchu b'yom melech kavod. Lo nana. Kevan shamar, once he said Hashem Elokim al tasher pnei meshichecha. Zochra lechaste David avdecha. Remember David, your servant. Miyanana. The gates opened up. Beota sha'a, in that moment, nefchu pnei sonei David keshulei agdera. The faces of the enemies of David, they became black, right? Because of the like the bottom part of a burnt pot. Yadu kol Yisrael, and all of Israel knew shemachal lo HaKadosh Baruch Hu lo tovo. It's a powerful Gemara. This is like one of the most powerful Gemaras. Yeah, that you see that Mamash said it was only for David. He went and he said it's for Hashem. Pitchu sha'arim, Hashem melech hakavod. Shum davar. Because of David Avdi. Gechazi does not get a chelek l'olam haba. Tichtiv b'zeh pasuk v'yelech Elisha tamasek lecha azal. So says the Gemara that Elisha, Gechazi was a student of Elisha. So he comes and he says, so Elisha went to Damascus. Where did he go? Amar Rabbi Yochanan shalach lachzir Gechazi b'tshuva. He went to bring him back to do teshuva. V'lo chazar, he didn't do it. Amar lo chazor becha. Amar lo, he says, come he says, no, I can't do teshuva. Mayavid, what did he do already? So he says, some people say, Evan shoevet tala lechatat yiravam. So he had like a magnet, Evan shoevet. It's like a stone, which is a magnet, right? That he put to chatat yiravam, which means he did milah in the 2 egle zahav. Right, and he put the matechet around them. And he put them in between the shamayim v'aretz. Right? Yeah, he was like a magician. He put them in the middle of the air. Gechazi. He put the egel azavs, the golden calves of Yerovam and Nevat, and he put them in the middle of the air. So he showed Kiru that they have powers. And some people say Shem chakak befia. He put the name in the Shem Mefurash. V'ayta machrez ve'omeret Anochi Hashem lokecha v'lo yelecha. And some people say Rabbanan dacha mikameh. Right? He pushed away the Talmidim and he didn't let them to come into Elisha. Meaning he had the full control of Elisha. So what did he do? He didn't let the rabbis come into Elisha Navi. This is what's going on. So Tanu Rabbanan, the rabbi is coming to teach us, right? A person should always have the left hand, right, close, and the right hand, the left hand push away, and the right hand, right, bring closer. And not like Elisha, that he pushed away Gechazi with the 2 hands. Yeah, by the way, you should know, this is the Gemara where you have the Masorah Tashas. Give me that book, the Gemara. That Gemara, bring it. Remember that I told you that that I told you that in Sanhedrin, you have two different Gemarot. One of them is on Kuf Zayin Amud Bet. You see the small printing? That small printing is Chesronot HaShas. They censored the Gemara and they took out the Gemara. They took out part of the Gemara. So there it says, Rabbi Yoshua ben Perachia. Right? This is the Rabbi of Yeshu.
Yes.
Maihu. What is the story? So here we're going to speak about it. Okay? This Gemara and also on Sanhedrin. Kuf Zayin Amud Bet. Where we are. Right here. Where.
They took it out.
And they took it out. And Mem Gimel Amud Aleph.
By Jay-Z.
Mem Gimel Amud Aleph. I told you, Mem Gimel is Mamzer Gadol. Okay? Mem Gimel. Mem Gimel Amud Aleph. All the bottom part of this Gemara. Look at it. Yeah? So here you have it. Okay? We'll go through it in a minute. So he says over here like this. It says in the Gemara, right? Gechazi, he comes and he says, Dichtiv, as it's written. Yeah, he says like this. He says, you have it in the footnote, actually. I have it in footnote 17, 17, Bivrit. Be'emtza, you got Bashmatot HaShas. You probably have it in English. Look in English. He probably brings it down in one of the footnotes.
For 17?
No. In English, it's a different number. But look in the footnote where it's going to speak about on this Gemara that we just said. It should be here. I have Bashmatot HaShas Muva Mikre Nusaf. הרב שדחה תלמידו בשתי ידיו, והתוצאות הקשות שיצא מאותה דחייה. Give me the English?
No. It's no.
Huh?
That's the story where Elisha pushed him with the two hands instead of pulling and pulling.
Yeah.
And pulling.
It's very interesting. They don't have it.
But you're talking about the one that he came to him and he told him, why are you looking in her eyes?
Let's see. Fine. Huh? Says the Gemara. He comes and he says like this. He says, Gechazi dichtiv vayomer Naaman. Naaman comes and he says, Hoil kach kikarim, vayifrot bo v'yatzar kikarim kesef, vayomer elav Elisha, me'ayin Gechazi. Where's Gechazi? Vayomer lo alach avdecha ana v'ana. I didn't go to this place. Vayomer elav, lo libi alach, kasher afach ish ve'ankavuto likratecha. Ha'et lakach dedekez v'lakav gadim zedim v'krabim v'tzon v'akav v'adim shvachot. So he says what? Gechazi took so much from Naaman? He took money, clothing, everything. Remember that Gechazi, right, after basically Gechazi went and he asked for like a payment. Because what happened was that he went and he didn't want to take a penny. But what happened was he went and he wanted to take a payment. Because he went and he cured Naaman from the tzarat. So then what happened was all of a sudden he comes and he takes a whole huge payment. So he says, Misha, what, did he take so much? כסף וגדים הוא שקל. אמרתי באותה שעה היה אלישע יושב דורש בשמונה שרצים. נעמן צבא מלך ארם היה מצורע, he was a מצורע. אמרה ליאיר רביתה, there was a woman that השתבעי, that she was captured מערד ישראל, היא עזרה לגבי אלישע, מה סלח, if you go to Elisha, he's going to cure you. כי עתה, when he came, אמר לה, זיל תבול בירדן, go to the Yarden, you're going to be cured. אמר לה, אחוך כמהו, he says, what, you're laughing at me? אמרי לה, he told him, הנאו דאבו בעדה. He says, go try it. Azal v'tava, and he went to the Yarden and he became cured. So Ata, yeah, he comes and he says, right, Aiti lekolhani denakit, right, lo tzav lekabula mineh. He says that he wanted to bring a present. So he says Elisha didn't want to accept it, right? So he sent Naaman, right, on his path. Gechazi patar mikam Elisha. So Gechazi came and he took the reshut from Elisha, right, as if that he needed to go. Azal shaka, and he took the money. Ve'afkid, and then he went to he put the doron somewhere else, right, in order that Elisha doesn't know. So Kiata chaz Elisha letzarat v'pachal. So he comes and he sees that he's got tzarat. So Elisha already knew that he took a present. Amar le rasha, higia el litol schar. He comes, now you're going to take the schar. Shmona shatzim that you learned right now. The tzarat Naaman tidbak b'chav zaracha leolam. He says the tzarat of Naaman is going to be in you and your children forever. And he left him like a mitzurah. Elisha was very powerful, yeah? Imagine, wow, the student...
They say he was bigger than, not bigger, but more stronger.
We spoke about that already yesterday. So there were 4 people that were mitzurahim. We're talking about Gechazi and his 3 children. Tanya, we learned in the Braita, Amad b'Shimon Lazar. Yetzer, Tinok, v'Isha, tesmul docha v'yamin mikarevet. The Yetzer Ra, a woman and a child, the small should be docha, the left hand should push away, and the right hand should bring them closer. What does that mean? Right? That means the person should understand what it is, right? All these things that he shouldn't. He has to know when to bring close and when to push away. Right? Yes, everything.
Oh.
The same thing.
Why should you bring the closer to you?
Because you have to keep your friends closer and your enemies even closer. Yeah, which means, right? Which means, right, that a person has to be very, very careful. So he comes and he says, right? There were 3 different cholaim that he got sick. Echad, shegera dubim betonokot. He went and he sent the dubim in the tinokot. You remember that he went and he sent the dubim to kill out the tinokot? You remember there was a famous story that we spoke about. Elisha with the forest and everything, and he killed out all the children. One of them did he went and he pushed away Gehazi with the 2 hands. And the one that he actually died. So basically, it's coming out that there were 3 different times that Ki'ilu, that it was different types of cholaim. Ad Avraham lo yazikna. Do you know that until Avraham Avinu, there was no such thing as becoming older? Because everyone that saw Avraham thought it was Yitzchak. And everybody that thought Yitzchak thought it was Avraham. So Avraham came and he asked for mercy that he should become old. So that way people will know that he's the older one. Until Yaakov, there was not the weakness. So by Rachames, he comes and he asks that there should be weakness. Why? There was nobody that was chole, right? Of choli shel mita, that he became better. Meaning the person that a person got sick, that mamash, he was sick, kaddish. There was no such thing as becoming better. Until Elisha came and he asked for mercy, Itpach, and then he became cured. So it's much better beforehand. He was Chala Elisha, another holy that he did not die from. So therefore, that's obviously going to be right another one. We're going to do the Mishnah, and then we'll do the Chesronot Shas. Dora Mabul and Chelek Olam Ba. Dora Mabul did not get Chelek Olam Ba. Right, and it says Anom Din Badin. They're not going to be Omed Badin. Shneimar Lo Yedunu Chi Badam Leolam Lo Din Velo Ruach. So they're not going to get Din and not Ruach. So that's why they don't get Olam Haba. Right? He says En Laim Right Dora Palaga also in Chelek Olam Ba. Shneimar Vayavas Pnei Haaretz. And it says Misham Mitzam, and Shedon don't get Olam Haba. Shneimar, and Shedon Yichadin Hashem Meod. Raim Olam Hazeh, Chatim Olam Haba. Aval Omdim Badin, but they do get Din. And Nehemiah says, no, Elu va'elu, whether Dora Mabul or Dora Anshe Sedom, they don't get Tchiyat HaMetim. Shneimar, Al Ken Lo Yakumu Reshaim B'Mishpat, Hataim Ba'adat Tzadikim. Al Ken Lo Yakumu Reshaim B'Mishpat is the Dora Mabul. Hataim Ba'adat Tzadikim is Anshe Sedom. So he said, Eno Omdim Ba'adat Tzadikim, Aval Omdim Ba'adat Reshaim, and then we're going to continue B'ezrat Hashem. Let's just do the little tiny part of the Mesorah Tashas.
They took it out.
Yes, the Christians took it out. The Christians took it out, yes. So it says over here like this. They say that there was another one of Yeshua ben Perachia, that he once went to an achsanya with his student. He went to an inn with a student, and she gave them a big kavod. So Rabbi Yeshua came and he said, wow, look how nice this hotel is, this achsanya is. So this Talmid, right, that he thought that the kavanah of the rabbi was that she was very beautiful. He went and said, yeah, but Rabbi, her eyes are very circle. She's not that pretty. Rabbi Yeshua, he got very upset that he was thinking about the woman. So he went, he took out 400 shofarot, and he came and he put him in nidui, put him in excommunication. Why? He was shuf einik the woman instead of putting the thing. So every single day the Talmid came back to try to do teshuvah, but Rabbi Yeshua came and he pushed them away. One day when Rabbi Yeshua came, the Talmid came, Rabbi Yeshua was in the middle of Kriyat Shema, and what he wanted to accept him. So he went and he showed him 1 minute, but he's in the middle of Kriyat Shema. But the Talmid thought that he said, he pushed him away again. So he went and he went, right, and he put a levena, right, he went and he started doing bimi machtit rabim. Look at Hashmatot Asas. This also is brought down in the Gemara Sotah of Mem Zayin Amud Aleph, and look in the Maharal over here, and the Ben Yehuda over here, right, and this is the entire story that's brought down here in this Gemara.